Hey, this is John Leon Guerrero. We have two guests today in part one of a special profile that was captured at this year's NAMM show, specifically at Soundcheck for the TEC Awards. The co-musical directors of the TEC Awards and our very dear friends, Claytoven Richardson and Larry Batiste. Their musical cred goes back decades, and they've played with, backed up, and bossed around some of the absolute best in the business. Les Paul, Jackson Browne, The Whispers, Bill Summers, Natalie Cole, Lettucey, Jimmy Jam, and Terry Lewis. The list is a mile long, and on this particular day, they were preparing for the TEC Awards performance that honored and included Peter Frampton. And much more important than that, the list of greats who know and love these two continue to astound me, even though I can no longer be surprised by any of it. The last time I was in a room with Larry and Claytoven, it was a beautiful house in the Oakland Hills. It was a stunning gem of modern lines and custom furnishings with a view of several of the Bay Area's famous bridges and about a couple million of its people. The concert grand piano in the great room of this house was shiny and stunning. And on that particular night, about 50 of us were given special invitation to an evening with the legendary David Porter. I was greeted by Claytoven when I got there, and he made me feel right at home. Just in my immediate circle for this listening party were Lenny Williams, Ron Moton, Fred Ross, Chuck Lounge, and Don Lewis. It was an amazing night, and I was lucky to be there, and I was there because I had been invited by Larry Batiste. See, when David Porter comes to town to hold court, the person he calls on to assemble that court is Larry. Now, we do this show to grow our tribe and expose everyone to acclaimed people doing brilliant work, and in order to do so, I need your help. Wherever you're listening to this show, iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, wherever, hook us up with some digital love. A 5-star rating and a positive review is all we ask, and if you do that part, the platforms will do the rest. Which, by the way, was my pickup line at my first junior high dance. Also, if you'd like to support our favorite cause, it's Save the Brave. You can read about them at savethebrave.org. They are a certified 501c3 nonprofit organization dedicated to helping veterans cope with post-traumatic stress. You can read all about them and throw them a couple bucks at that website. That's savethebrave.org. You know, just a couple bucks you're not using right now. No kidding, Pete and I both support Save the Brave with our time and our recurring contributions right out of our PayPal accounts, and Scott Husing does the same, and he serves on their board. So we urge you to do something for them too. And I urge you to sit back and listen from the 2019 TEC Awards to part one of this profile on Bay Area music greats, Larry Batiste and Claytoven Richardson.
Lions Rock Productions.
This is Jay Moore.
This is Greg Proops.
This is Jordan Harbinger.
This is Dexter from The Offspring.
This is Nathan East.
Sebastian Younger.
This is Rick Marotta.
This is Stuart Copeland.
This is Mick Gillette.
This is Andy Summers.
Hey, this is Skunk Baxter.
This is Gabby Reese.
This is Rob Bell.
Hey, this is John Leon Guerrero.
Hey, and this is Pete A. Turner.
This is Larry Batiste.
And this is Claytoven Richardson.
And you're listening to the Break It Down Show.
And now, the Break It Down Show with John Leon Guerrero and Pete A. Turner.
That sounds like a couple of guys who may have worked together in the past at some point.
A little bit.
Just a little bit.
A little bit. So I had to stop Claytoven because he started to say, you know, Larry and I met. And I said, well, okay, we got to capture this thing. But I want to tell our audience that we are at the NAMM Show 2019. We're here in the ballroom where they're going to hold the TEC Awards tonight.
Yes.
And the TEC Awards are, for our uninitiated listeners, think of it as the Grammys for everybody who's not the artist that you know who is famous.
Absolutely.
Here's where we celebrate all those folks. Larry and Claytoven have been the musical directors for these TEC Awards for a few years now.
I think this is the 24th year.
Wow. The 24th year.
Wow, it's been that long, man.
Jeez. All you got to do is keep breathing.
Well, Claytoven is 27 years old.
Yeah,
how do you explain this?
We're the same age.
She got started in 95.
Right. Yes.
How different is the setup in this room now with those 25 years?
Oh my God, it's like night and day.
Yeah.
It really is. TEC Awards used to be part of AES in New York, and
Right.
it varied from New York to Los Angeles to San Francisco, and I think we've been a part of NAMM for 7 or 8 years now.
Thank you.
How you doing?
7 or 8 years
yes,
now.
Yes.
So when you started this endeavor back in 95, it came through, if I remember correctly, it came through your association with Hillel Resner.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
He was the one who approached me at first about TEC Awards. Clay and I both do a lot of volunteer work with the Recording Academy.
Mm-hmm.
And one year we produced an event. We said, there's nothing for R&B folks. So we produced a thing about songwriting and publishing. And it was very successful. In that time, it was the 80s or 90s or something. And in our area, Tony and In Vogue and all these people were popular.
Yeah.
We had them do it. It was very successful. And then the next day, Hillel says, hey, how would you like to be the musical director of the TEC Awards? And I didn't know what that was. But
You said yes anyway.
Well, I knew it was a job. But we went to lunch the next day and opened up script he had, and he had all these great people were there. I'm going, oh man, they're going to actually be here. So so of course I said yes, and that was the beginning of doing the TEC
of a
Awards.
long and storied relationship here.
Just beautiful.
Well, speaking of long and storied relationships, though, I'm going to rewind back a little further and talk about the Bay Area folks that you mentioned, because I like to give shout outs.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Tommy's been on the show, and so we always want to shout out Tommy McElroy. Denzel has not been on the show yet. We have to rope him in.
We got to get him.
But Dwayne, I think Dwayne was our episode 3. He was number 6 tops.
6? Yeah.
Yeah, we did like our first 5 or 6 episodes at Dwayne's house.
Mm-hmm.
So he was instrumental in us getting started. But to rewind back even further, I'm going to tie in your association with Dwayne and where you and Claytoven met, Larry, and that was in junior high.
Yes.
Junior high.
Junior high. Actually, I went to, we went to different junior high schools, but we used to have Battle of the Bands in those days.
Okay.
And we actually met at a Battle of the Bands. We were in separate bands.
Mm-hmm. This happens to junior high school students, no matter what discipline. You could be football players, baseball players, basketball players, musicians.
Right.
Right around junior high is when the other kid from across town goes to another junior high, but he's the baddest one over there.
Oh, yeah,
and
man.
you're going to get to know that kid.
Oh, look.
Something's going to happen.
Yeah.
Man,
right?
It was kind of crazy because we were in competing bands.
Of course.
And played in this battle of bands. His band won.
Uh-huh.
My band took second place.
Okay. Have you ever held that over his head? I'm sure.
No, because I'll tell you something.
Let's just say that you should.
Well, I know. I looked at this guy. He really stood out. I mean, he was bad as hell, but not only was he a brilliant musician, he was playing all the saxophone players. James Brown was popular.
Yeah.
Everybody band, they played James Brown.
Right.
But he was playing all the saxophone parts on a
bass clarinet.
On a bass clarinet.
Okay.
I'm going, my God. So I had to get the story on that. So I'm going, man, he stood out.
Yeah.
Back in those days, you had to make do.
Okay. So just to give it some context for our listeners who are not woodwind artists or musicians at all, that's like kicking field goals with a basketball.
Basically. Yeah. That's a good analogy.
So when you show up and you go, hey, I saw their football team and their kicker was kicking field goals with a basketball, everybody's going to go, we better go see that guy.
Yeah, and
we better not let them get in field goal range.
right.
So, okay, you're playing James Brown licks on a bass clarinet. You got that would make Maceo stop and go, who? What? I got to go see this kid.
Right.
So, ever since then, you have known each other by association. You competed. You knew to look out for each other.
And then we realized that we don't live too far from each other.
I see.
So we started hanging out, and we just became really great friends. Started writing songs together, and started a horn section together. That whole bit.
Yeah. We got some noise coming in over the top because we are here in sound check. So I want our listeners to You might think, ooh, that's going to annoy me. No, it's not going to annoy you. It's going to make you feel like you are way inside because you
they
are. Yeah, right now you are way, way inside.
Well, this is actually a tech rehearsal where they're running all the audio and video to make sure everything's going to work.
Everything works. That's right. Now we're talking about Leslie.
Yes.
So a Lifetime Achievement Award. That's what she's getting tonight?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. What a lifetime she's had.
Actually, Hall of Fame.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, very similar. She certainly deserves a Hall of Fame award for somebody being so instrumental to the music of the Bay Area and really to the formation of both of your careers as well.
Absolutely.
Yes, sure.
Well, Leslie Ann Jones is just, wow. I think she's just been around forever.
Mm-hmm.
And she turned us on to a lot of gigs.
Yeah.
And
helped us out on some projects.
Well, let's talk about how what I really want to start with about this topic, though, is how young you were when you started working with her.
Wow. Early 20s?
Yeah.
I mean, really the
20s.
Beginnings of your career.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, early 20s.
I'd say we actually started, we put a band together, of course, in high school and all that. I guess
Castlemont High. We should mention Castlemont High. Dr. Bell.
Castlemont. Shout out. And I think our first professional recording was Bill Summers and Summer's Heat.
Oh, man.
But we did stuff before that. What was it?
What's that you shaking, baby?
What's that?
Richard Dimplesfield.
Richard Dimplesfield was actually.
What's that you shaking, baby?
You guys know that name?
I do. I do not.
When I was in high
CD in my back
school,
pocket.
when I was in high school, there was a guy named Richard Dimplesfield used to come and pick us up and have us do horn arrangements and stuff for his records. His name was Richard Dimplesfield. Finger licking good. My baby's got papers. And, I can't remember.
My baby's got papers.
His big one was "What's that you shaking, baby?"
What's that you shaking,
guys
baby? And the hook was butter.
Man, and he was an Oakland artist?
He was in Oakland, and he eventually moved to L.A. And he made some noise in the R&B scene. And paid us royally. I think he gave us burgers or something.
Yeah, we played a lot of gifts for hors d'oeuvres.
That's part of the process. And look at you guys. You're in this grand ballroom. We should probably take a picture of this ballroom just while it's empty so that people can understand the size and scope of this thing because it's huge. Yeah. And the first time you guys played this, it wasn't nearly this big.
No, I was telling the story of one of the New York one where we were playing and it was in a place that's maybe a fourth of this place.
Yeah.
And they were first trying to do all electronics and the videos and stuff, and they blew out the fuse for the hotel.
Right.
Like half the hotel
for the hotel. So the whole show got shut down.
Yeah.
Like about a half an hour.
And you're sitting there with a crowd by candlelight.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what?
And what did you do? Larry started tap dancing.
Right, exactly. Telling jokes.
Really.
Yeah. But I tell you though, what's really improved is the technology.
Yeah.
It's just the way things are. It's just like night and day.
Okay. But how has it affected your ability as a musical director? The technology has improved. There's certainly a lot more visual going on. There's a lot more. The sound is better.
Yeah.
But in terms of your ability to act as an MD, let's talk about how the technology has furthered.
Well, for us, we deal with it from two different aspects. For the most part, Larry's the MD. I come in as the assistant MD, but my job is mostly to do the music arranging and things like that.
Okay.
And because of the technology, for me on my end, just being able to do charts, turn them into MP3s, uploading them to online things like Dropbox.
Yeah.
So the musicians can see things.
To allow people to do their homework more efficiently.
It's just incredible. And then for him, the things that he's able to deal with on the technology side.
Let's pause for a moment before you get to Larry's benefits. But I think with regard to allowing all of that arrangement stuff and the charts and all of that to run more smoothly, what I want our audience to understand is that this is not just a convenience issue. This allows for more complicated arrangements. It allows for you to really take the caliber of the show and boost it up.
Yes.
So now we're talking about folks getting arrangements faster, allowing them to do more homework, get the reps in, take the time while they're on a plane or all of these things allow for better music to come through.
Absolutely, because we have very limited time. Even with Grammys, we only have a 1 3-hour rehearsal. We had a 1 3-hour rehearsal to practice 91 walk-ons and feature performances. And so
91 walk-ons.
Yeah. And so having that technology, being able to send MP3s ahead of time, send charts ahead of time.
Right.
And so these musicians get a chance to, know the
familiarize
music.
themselves.
So when I get to the rehearsal, when we get there, people aren't trying to learn the stuff.
Yeah, they're prepared.
They are already prepared. I'm just kind of running through it, and sometimes I don't even do the whole song because we don't have time. I catch parts of it, and we do things like so. The technology is really
helped
benefit. And this show, thank God for this show, we don't have to rehearse any performances because Peter Frampton is bringing his band. And they're going to perform.
They know the tunes.
Yeah. They know the tunes. So
except for the one performance.
Except for the one we're doing an opening performance, and we brought in our homies.
Oh yeah,
to open. And
man, you got Tony Lindsay.
We had Tony Lindsay on background. Nate is singing lead. And, there was a girl named Skylar Jordan singing. She sings with Dee Dee Bridgewater and a whole bunch of people. She's great. She's in the LA area.
Okay,
and we was going to have. Monet Owens sing.
Okay.
And she couldn't make it. She said, call my friend. Call my friend. She's here.
Oh, I see.
They sing with Dee Dee Bridgewater together. And so I called and she says, oh, yeah, I'll be there.
All this technology, like we're looking at about 150 feet of video screen, I'm guessing.
Yes.
It's huge. I mean, it's like a stadium.
Yeah.
And then the show has gotten bigger, I'm imagining, over the years.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so are there more people involved in planning this thing, or does the technology kind of keep it about the same? Or 25 years of growth.
Well, I think there's more people involved because, they have to show social media aspects of it and all the marketing and promotion and stuff like that. But we have a good problem that's always sold out. So in terms of people involved, I don't know if there's more people involved.
It seems to be.
It seems to be there more.
Especially with all the recording they're doing, because now aside from just the show going on and that being that, they're recording it for YouTube and streaming and all these different things. So there are a lot of extra people that are involved with that.
Okay.
So,
well, when we were making our arrangements to be here, we were talking with the PR folks. I don't know if they want to be named, but we were talking with the PR folks who are great to us. And I was asking if I could get a board recording, because what we're going to do is we'll talk about some of the challenges that you're facing here. We'll talk about that opening number. We'll cut in a little bit of it. And then she said, I don't know if anybody's recording it. And I said, it's the TEC Awards.
Yeah, it's always recorded.
It's everybody here is a sound person. I'm pretty sure somebody's recording it.
It's always recorded.
Yeah, there are a lot of different missions going on. I mean, the PR folks, the social media folks, everybody has a different snippet of something to do.
All the video editors and all
and a lot of this stuff is getting cut in real time, so it can get posted short time later.
Absolutely. Yeah, so
man.
There's a lot going on.
Before we talk about the challenges of the show, I want to ask, do you guys in the 20 some odd years you've been doing this, how many is it? 25?
24. This is 24.
24th. This is the 24th year. 95 being the first year. Hillel Resner was my boss in 97.
You're kidding me?
Wow. Yeah.
What a great guy.
He probably doesn't remember me because he was my boss's boss, really. He was the publisher of Mix Magazine, so he was everybody's boss.
Yeah.
But we got a very strong sense of what a great guy he was because just the way he ran the shop.
Yeah.
So want to shout out to him. But can you talk about either one of you having very favorite moments that were magical that happened in those 24 years at this show? Do you remember things that stick out in your head where you go, oh man, that was a moment?
I know for me, it's not so much the show itself. For me, it's the same magical moment every year. Is like, for me, I'm sitting at home in my pajamas for like about 45 days, doing charts, going back and forth with Larry, doing these arrangements, getting things together. And for me, the magic is every rehearsal when I hear that work come to life in the rehearsal. And it's just amazing to me to hear these great musicians interpret the music the way that they do.
Yeah.
And for me, that's a serious euphoric moment every year for me. It's incredible.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. It's pretty cool. The thing is, I really love working around people who are professional.
Mm-hmm.
And, everybody's doing their job. Everybody is, doing their thing. And when I'm dealing with the artists, from the beginning to, meeting their publicists, meeting their management, and then eventually meeting them, figuring out what they want to do in terms of their performance, having all these conversations, and then doing the face-to-face here the day of the show, and meeting some great people.
This is the fun part of MDing an event like this.
Yeah, the thing is, like, in this show, we're honoring people who are pretty much icons and veterans and stuff. And so when you get to these people are really relaxed. When you work with a bunch of kids, sometimes
they also know that they're walking into this situation.
Yeah, but a lot of kids are anxious and stuff. But you get veterans; they're calm, they're cool, they're collected. Like last year, we worked with the Jackson Brown and their band and all the cats who did all the original recordings.
Yeah.
And they're coming, they're just cool, they're having their coffee. And
I saw on the slideshow, I saw Leland's Sklar.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And just this fun, laid back people, Jackson Brown walks in his jeans and stuff, hugs everybody and, that kind of thing. And so there's no whatever. And
all the jitters are gone.
All the jitters are gone.
You get to just have the fun.
And people are just doing what they do.
Yeah.
So,
when I'm putting together one of these shows, I know it's a really good show when I get lost and I forget that I'm editing and then I have to wind back. Do you guys have moments like that where you're here and you're like, oh, that's right, I'm actually working right now?
Yeah. Oh, man. Sometimes it's so much fun and the music is so great. You have to go, oh, man, I got to remember I'm not in the audience. The bridge is coming up. I need to cue it, But, yeah, that happens a lot. Where it just sounds so good that you can't believe it. My very first year, it was in New York, and I didn't know any musicians in New York. And so I had this friend named Tom Barney, bass player. He played with Steely Dan and a Saturday Night Live band and a whole bunch of people. And so I called Tom and said, man.
Well, wait a minute. How did you know Tom Barney?
I met him because he had come to the Bay Area playing with Luther Vandross.
Okay.
And I had a friend who knew that whole camp and stuff. So I go to the Circle Star. I remember that.
Yes.
And I meet Luther and I meet Tom Barney. And we stayed in contact and just became friends.
So now fast forward, you get the gig.
So fast forward, I get the gig. And I called Tom and said, man, can you put together a band for me? And he said, sure. I show up to New York and who do I have? It's the Steely Dan Rhythm Section.
Do you remember specifically who it was?
I can't remember all the guys.
Right, but everybody was just veteran. And you walked into a situation where you guys didn't have to worry about.
Yes, so that happens. And I think that kind of pretty much solidified my,
your employment at the TEC Awards. Because, if I'm worried about the music being presented and all of a sudden I hear this performance, and I go, oh, boy, we better just get that again next year.
But then the whole thing, too, is that the cats read the charts and all the charts are, everything is, in place. And then when you talk about magic, we have the charts, but like Clay says, when you hear them play, you go, oh my God.
Now it's alive.
I wasn't even expecting that. That's even better than what I expected. And so those are magical moments.
That's funny to hear coming from horn players.
Yeah.
Because Claytoven, we introduced you as a woodwind player. Larry, you were a trombonist.
I played trombone,
yes. So it's one thing when you walk into a place and you see a trumpet or a tenor sax. When you start seeing the more exotic horns, when you see a trombone,
yes,
if you see a bass clarinet, if you see something that a little out of the ordinary, then you can go, oh, it's serious.
Right.
It's serious in here.
Yeah.
When you see somebody's axe that is not one of the standards, you go, okay.
Right.
Because that guy doesn't get invited unless there's been a long relationship or a lot of rehearsals That's
like our bass player. That was the first time I ever saw a 6-string bass. And so for me, that changed when Melvin Davis became a part of the crew.
Oh my goodness. Is he playing with you tonight?
Me, he is. He's right there sitting at that table.
Davis. Wow.
Yeah, for me on the radio side, it changed things because, usually you can't go past a low E.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait a minute.
Right.
I could get
He just opened up the register.
I could get
Let me get my pajamas on and get to work.
You know what I'm saying? I can do some extra stuff. You know what I mean? It's just incredible. And a lot of these musicians bring some things that, when Larry's thinking about what music to do, and then I'm thinking about how to interpret that music, arrangement wise.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony.
The skill level that we have, it really makes it gives us a
freedom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
you can do whatever you want.
Freedom. Because you don't have to worry, okay, is this note going to be too high? Is this phrase going to be too difficult?
Yeah.
We could just go for it.
Yeah, like the first show, I mean, that raised the bar, right? The bar is really high.
That's really high.
You start there.
Yeah.
And so it let us know that we had to make sure we had musicians of that caliber to carry the thing through when we come to
You
Los
never
Angeles.
wanted to hear, man, what happened this year?
Yeah, right, exactly.
I remember I was there last year.
Right, exactly.
What happened this year? You can't.
Exactly.
You got to top it every time.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we got, Melvin on bass, he MD Shaka Khan and all these other great written art places people. Toshi on guitar, he plays in Jimmy Kimball Live Band and stuff. And let's see.
Jaden
Bean on drums. And he's somebody that used to be a student of Claytoven's, and he's come on up when Will Kennedy couldn't make it.
Wow.
He stepped right in the shoes.
All right.
And so who else we have?
Will Kennedy went to Castlemont with you guys.
Oh,
too,
yeah. We had a group called Private Eye after Bill Summers and Summer's Heat.
Yeah, we did.
That's a whole other story.
Okay.
We have so many lives we lived.
Yeah.
And our saxophone player, Charles McNeil.
Okay.
Who's, he plays with Lyle Lovett and a whole bunch of great people.
Yeah.
And
everybody's a top-notch
everybody's, so we're having fun.
And again, for our audience, we're at NAMM 2019. The thing about NAMM is, yesterday, I was watching Russell Ferrante play.
Yeah.
And he, he's amazing. But then I looked around and I saw next to me Corey Jacobs, Matt Fink, Victoria Theodore.
Oh,
I'm like, everybody here
yes.
who's checking out this amazing person is an amazing person.
Is an amazing person.
And so you're going to be filled here at the TEC Awards. Everybody who comes to see this is a professional.
Yes, yeah.
And so that's really the caliber that you guys have delivered for 24 years in a row. You've grown a group of professionals to want to keep coming back to see this.
Yeah.
That's an achievement that I don't want to overlook. And I want our audience to realize what we're talking about here.
I want to ask, you guys have known each other since junior high, right?
Yeah.
And I've got friends that I've known since the 70s. You've worked together for a long time.
Yes.
So you guys know how to stay out of each other's way, but you also know what he needs.
Right.
He's going to want this without even knowing that it's I'm shutting up.
Yes. No.
Let me throw that pass towards the rim. Right?
Yeah.
No, it's just really good. I mean, he pretty knows the voicing and the whole thing that we hear. We know that we got an 8-piece band. We got 3 horns to work with. And when I'm trying to pick the music, first I have to research all the presenters and know what they're associated with. Then I try to find the right song that's associated with them and then the right version of that. So we got to come up with something that fits our band, that's appropriate for the, thing.
Yeah.
And so it's a lot of pre-stuff before, and he knows just what he's got it down,
You know what I'm sorry we can't give an example of is the inside jokes. Because when you work with somebody for so long, you put something in that arrangement just to go.
We do.
You remember this one, right?
Right.
We do have an inside joke because he's my idol in terms of marriage. He's been married for the longest time. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to keep a marriage together too well. That's become my profession. But
you're getting practice in though.
But we chip on. Everybody asks us how we've been able to be friends so long and work together.
Yeah.
And the first thing is business is business and friendship is friendship. All the business that we do, we make sure we do all our paperwork and everything that we're supposed to do. So that way friendship doesn't come into it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It won't be interfered with.
Either way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
then another inside joke that we say is reason why we're friends for so long because sex isn't involved.
That helps.
But I'm telling you something, respect is the common thread that runs between all professional and business relationships or whatever. I think
the ones that endure,
because we're not the same person. So we have different things that we go about doing things. But, the thing is, I respect this guy. He respects me.
Yeah.
And so, and that's in our personal relationships too of mine. When I have something challenging to say, I take the time to think about how I'm going to reframe it and say it. And that's what we do with each other and stuff. So I always know that he's got my best interest at heart, even if we don't agree. And then we also have the freedom to say, you know what, that sucks. We're writing together. Because we also write songs together. Our publishing company has over 300 songs that we've co-written and been released and all that stuff. So we can look at each other and say, man, that sucks. And we get it. We go, yeah, it does. And keep on moving.
We've been able to really squash ego. And just be able to communicate back and forth without worrying about each other's ego and each other's trips.
Yeah.
They don't come into play. We just actually...
When did you guys figure that out, though? Because ego is really tough to master, especially when you're up on a stage playing and you can have so much.
Man, we just never had it.
We just never had it.
Yeah. We just never had it. We just, we just worked together and we loved each other. And I want him to do well. He wants me to do well. Yeah. And we've just been blessed with that.
And I think that's the other part of it, is realizing that all of this is a blessing and a gift. You know what I mean? That for any strange reason could be taken away at any time.
Yeah.
It could end at any time.
Right.
And so all of these things that we're doing and all the things they're all blessings and gifts. And I think both of us are really good at recognizing that it's all a gift and a blessing.
When you think about it can end any day, and there's people that can't be here with us anymore. Who would you guys wish was still here to see you guys at this point?
Wow.
Oh, man, it would be, for me, our mentor, a guy named Bill Bell.
Yeah.
Who, golly, he's like our second father in terms of just being professional. And I think he gave us our first gig when we were in high school.
But he did get to see you be successful.
Oh, yeah, he did.
When he passed a couple years ago,
he was very proud of us. Yeah. But, still, when I just think of him, he's just like the number one. He was our instrumental guy. And then our vocal person was a guy named Phil Reeder in high school. We was in the Castaliers. He did he kept us vocally strong. Yeah, but Bill Bell, man, he was something else.
Bill Bell was basically my second dad.
Yeah.
When I was young, I would stay at his house, and I'd get up in the morning and eat breakfast with his kids. He'd take us all to school. He'd come and pick us all up. I'd have to sit there and do my homework with all the other kids. Mm-hmm. After I finished my homework, then he'd sit and show me how to do arranging. I was his apprentice for 2 or 3 years. Yeah. With him doing arranging and stuff like that. And when he passed, it was rough.
Well, I remember, though, he says, hey, you guys got a suit. We're in the 12th grade or something. And we said, yeah. He said, okay, show up here at a certain time. And, we show up and it's Billy Eckstein or it's Bobby.
I think the first big one that we did when we showed up, it was for Duke Ellington's band.
Yeah. It was
say what?
Yeah. Yeah. We showed up. High school kid.
He said, do you have a suit?
Right.
You said, yeah. And he said, okay, show up at 6:00. You walked in and Duke Ellington's band was there. And he said, get your axe out.
Yeah. Which, so many people, Eartha Kitt, blah, blah. Wow. But what they did for us at a young age, they taught us how to be professional, how to show up on time, how to be prepared and all that. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff. And it also showed us that this is real. This could happen to you. You could have a professional career. Why? Because Bill Bell said
this exists. This exists, and it's here for you.
Right, exactly.
If you put in the work, you're just as entitled to it as anybody else.
Exactly.
That's really what there's nothing more that a teacher can do. There's the practical stuff, but there's nothing more that a teacher can do but empower you.
Yeah.
To say, yes, I can do this. I am capable. Mm-hmm. So, wow, what a great influence. Mm-hmm. When I brought up inside jokes, what I was talking about was the thing that you throw in the arrangement that he's going to go, I remember that. where you guys do things for each other that are a shorthand. Every once in a while, we'll be doing something. We'll do an interview, and I'll just say some sideways comment that Pete really knows is a joke about his daughter or.
Hey, this is Pete A. Turner from Lions Rock Productions. We create podcasts around here, and if you, your brand, or your company want to figure out how to do a podcast, just talk to me. I'll give you the advice on the right gear, the best plan, and show you how to take a podcast that makes sense for you, that's sustainable, that's scalable, and fun. Hit me up at pete@breakitdownshow.com. Let me help. I want to hear about it.
A joke about his daughter or, something like that where everybody else keeps going, but we
got that.
Oh, yeah,
we do have one inside thing. We actually wrote a song called If the Phone Don't Ring, You Know It's Me. And I'm feeling that way right now because I hired a company that's an hour and a half late. And I'm seeing the drums getting here. It's 11:30. It's supposed to be there at 9:30.
It's supposed to be at 9:30. And then, you know what? I just want the audience, our audience to realize they're setting up, and he set up a rack tom first. The drum set does not start there.
Right, exactly. They're just setting up what came in.
Okay.
So
he's working with what he's got.
And so that comes when you with musicians, with people who work around who's not quite professional, whatever, So we had to write the song "If the Phone Don't Ring, You Know It's Me," and we actually put it on one of our records. That's what's in my mind right now.
Oh boy,
we'll do that. And sometimes we'll say that. There might be someone he decides he doesn't want to be a part of the situation anymore, and then I'll say, "What happened to it?" And he just look at me. If the phone don't ring, you know it's me.
Give you the look.
Okay.
Man. What do you want out of this for everybody when they walk out of this room to be amazed with that's different from last year?
Well, I want them to have a different experience, a great experience.
Okay.
That's number one, is that the musicians have a great experience, that the audience have a great experience. And because it's a different, artist, it's going to be a different experience. It's going to be great because the technology, because the caliber of people are great. It's going to be a great experience. So I'm confident in that. It might not be what we rehearsed, but if we get, it's going to be good, and so.
Okay. That's great. Claytoven, your arrangements as you're spending those weeks on up to when the thing comes to life, I wanted to point out, because we've heard this time and time again, the performance is almost where everybody goes, I know the chart now. I'm going to do this thing. It's going to be great. I'm going to be a pro. But that first rehearsal is where somebody goes, you know what? I think I'm going to go for the note. And they're doing the thing, and you say, I could do this, or I could do this. And I'm going to go for it because it's just rehearsal. And so that's where real magic happens. Time and time again, that's what we hear. It's like, the gig was good. You should have heard that rehearsal.
Right. Oh, yeah.
I mean, the thing is, for what I do, I'm just creating a roadmap. I'm just creating a little roadmap. And the caliber of the musicians are such that if a musician veers a little bit, it's always going to be something just incredible.
Yeah. Let's see what he goes out and finds over there.
Exactly.
They have that kind of talent. And we want that.
Right.
Yeah.
But like I said, we don't have time to rehearse everything.
Right.
So I'm just going to make sure you have the verse and the chorus or whatever, and then read the chart. So we're expecting magic because, imagine rehearsing 3 hours show, it's not going to happen.
Wow.
So.
Yeah. Are you in everybody's ears?
Yeah.
So for our audience, the MD at a show often is cueing people. So in order to get instructions to people, everybody's got in-ear monitors, and along with the mix that they're enjoying playing to and hearing the guy next to them the way they want to hear him, they also got orders coming through. Like,
I was going to say the worst part of it, which I'm glad he does, and I don't have to do, is he's got the producer, the director.
You got everybody in your ear.
Stage manager.
It's funny.
It's crazy
because because I'm listening to the music, but I'm also listening to the video cues. They're going 8, 9, whatever. They're running it down. They're saying, okay, done in 10. They're saying, I got to listen to, and the award goes to, and then start the music there. Then they're coming from your left, they're coming from your right, they're whatever, and then I get all the other stuff. What the hell is she wearing? You know? Then I get all the conversations, I get the jokes.
And can't laugh. Right. And can't laugh if you're on stage.
You know what I mean? So all of it, the video cues, all the announcing, all the stuff, all that's in my ear, and the music and stuff. So it's just separating all that, listening for your spot. And then I have to say something to them, then I got to communicate with them as well. And then I got to get, they're not showing up, cut the music, stretch the music. Something's wrong with the video.
Right.
You know, I get all that stuff. And so
something's wrong with the video, stretch the music. Yeah.
The power's out. Larry, fix this.
Larry, get your tap shoes on.
So, you know, one thing.
Do you guys have the charts coming through on iPad?
We have books, and we have Melvin likes to use his iPad and stuff, so everything's electronically there. I had one situation where they wanted me to play off Phil Spector. You know, he was kind of long-winded, and that's the thing I really dislike the most is when we have these icons there, and then they're doing their acceptance speech, and they go on, Larry, play music, cut them off. And I'm going like, oh my God, I got to cut off.
How do I cut off Phil Spector?
You know, it's like, you know.
You become the bad guy.
I got to give him a little slack, you know. Then I just usually have the piano player just play something, you know, soft, give him a gentle cue. Yeah. You know, don't come in with horns and stuff, you know.
We're here to recognize you. We're done recognizing you.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We recognize you.
Yeah.
See you up there.
You know, just start going back. And then when I was 10,
that's when the horns come out.
My mother, you know, then, oh no, he's only at age 18 now. You know, he's been on for 20 minutes, you know, that kind of thing, you know. So,
well, that's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to watch out for. What I'd really like to do is when we're all done, let's get back together. And then let's do a recap of how the show went, and we'll see what surprises came up. And And then I just want to also acknowledge that I'm glad you're back in the Bay, Claytoven. I feel like I know Larry much better than I know you, but we've only really known each other a short time.
Yes, that's right.
However, I describe Larry to people when they say, oh, you know Larry? I say, yes, absolutely. I know Larry. He's my daily motivator. I have to see what Larry has to say so that my outlook on the day can be healthy and well-adjusted.
I appreciate that. I try to be an encourager.
You definitely are an encourager.
Because we know what's going on in the world. We get the news and all that kind of stuff. Like whenever, and all I'm doing, I'm not the guru, you know, I'm just sharing information. So when I hear something positive, whatever, I'm going, that might be positive for somebody else too, you know? So that's all I'm doing.
Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate the two of you. I say that we're looking forward to the TEC Awards tonight. This is NAMM 2019. We're at the TEC Awards. You guys are way, way inside with MD and co-MD / arranger, Larry Batiste and Claytoven Richardson, and we're in for a treat tonight, and we will catch back up with you guys back in the Bay or afterwards.
Yes, absolutely.
You asked me about how well we were doing tonight. Yeah, we will definitely be at the show tonight.
All right.
So we're going to be able to see your work in action. Thank you, gentlemen.
Cool.
All right.
Very good.